Hello, thank you so much for watching this video. I'm sure that it's going to be really useful to you and answer some of your questions that you may have. I wanted to thank you for choosing us as a school for your child in Year 7. I'm sure that you know this already, but my name is Ellen Walton and I am head teacher here at Sandbach High School. I wanted to say to you that I would have loved to have met you face to face. Obviously it's disappointing that we can't do that. I am thrilled to be head here. I am going to take my role here really seriously in terms of the education of your child and making sure that we can get the very best for them. Thank you very much.
Hello and welcome to our virtual version of our Year 7 Parent Information Evening. For those who don't know, I'm Miss Wally and I'm going to be just going through some key bits of information about the need to know for parents of Year 7 that you will find useful for the day-to-day support of your daughters. Now, unfortunately, Mr. Fairclough would have been with us. Unfortunately, he's broken his leg, so it's just me doing this video for you this afternoon. I'll move on. Okay, so first of all, I'd like to just explain to you the structure of the pastoral team. Just to reiterate the structure of our team. So we have Miss Darlington, who is the deputy head with overall responsibility of the pastoral system in school behaviour standards, etc. And then there's myself, who has assistant head teacher, who has overall responsibility for the Year 7s and a few other responsibilities within school. We have Mr. Fairclough, who, as you know, is the achievement coordinator. We have the nurse practitioner, Miss Sarah Zepper, who is here to support the girls in their medical and emotional situations. Then we have Miss Nikki Abson, who is our Senko, and she supports all the girls with additional needs with her team. Okay. We then have the form tutors. So each of your girls now knows what form they're in, they're allocated their form, and hopefully by now the Year 7 form tutors have all emailed you to introduce themselves personally to develop that relationship with you, which really is key to develop that relationship, because they are members of staff that will stay with your daughters from Year 7 right the way through to Year 11, and they will be the ones that get to know your daughters extremely well. So building that relationship and that with the girls and parents is really important. So there's just a list of the girls' form tutors. So hopefully, as I say, they've been in touch with you already. Okay, so just going into a little bit of depth about our pastoral roles. Okay, so I lead on the Key Stage 2 to 3 transition. So all the videos and resources that you've received over the last few months are coordinated by myself, but obviously not on my own. We're supported by a lot of members of staff, so that's one of my main roles. I oversee the Year 7s, so obviously behaviour, achievement, etc. I also run the Year 7 intervention and catch up, although that has changed slightly this year, whereby it isn't specifically Year 7 catch up, it's funded for every student across the school because of this, because of the COVID situation. That funding is quite changed, but still I will be specifically looking after the Year 7s and their intervention as well. I also run Pupil Voice, the school council. We do a virtual school council, and we just cascade the school council down. So we have the overall school council, which has representatives from each year group. We then have in each form, across the whole school, form reps. And we have class meetings every 2 or 3 weeks where all the girls within the classes have their voice, opportunities to share their opinions and thoughts. So it's a cascading system. So I oversee that. I also look at the Stamp It Out, our bullying campaign, and our in-house system of dealing with bullying and the constant renewal of thoughts and feelings on that, and the education continually throughout the year. My role is also the parental engagement, so all of the activities and events that we deliver for parental engagement, so the workshops, the PFA, the Parent Council, etc. I oversee all of that as well. Mr. Fairclough, as you know, is the Achievement Coordinator. He is specifically responsible for Year 7. He tracks and monitors the progress of the girls. He also works along senior colleagues to do that. He looks at attendance, punctuality, achievements, and he leads on the welfare of the girls. So he looks at the day-to-day welfare of them and their general well-being. He liaises with subject teachers, form tutors, and obviously parents. He organises student care, which include the counselling, the nurture groups, the anger management courses, and peer mentoring. And with that comes another team of people who support him with that. And it's people like our in-house counsellors and our school nurse and our external agencies that come in and support various different girls. He also looks at the admission and integration of new students as they join our school. And overarching is the one who enforces school standards and general behaviour, conduct and uniform for your girls and your daughters in Year 7.
Hello, my name is Mr. Fairclough, just to put a face to the name. Thank you, Miss Wally, you've summed up my role in school really well there. Apologies that I'm not with you presenting the information. As Miss Wally has mentioned, I am at home at the moment dealing with an injury, but I'm still here to support the students. I'm still here to support you as parents and carers, and I'm really looking forward to getting back to work really soon.
He is then supported obviously by the form tutors, as I mentioned, and in depth here goes into the reasons and the detail about their role and responsibilities. So if I can just pull out a few key ones. Form tutors and the forms at the heart of the school, and they are relied upon to look at the day-to-day care of our students. Like I say, a key part of our school. The form tutors provide the personal tutoring to make sure that your daughters are fully supported emotionally as well as academically. So again, a really important aspect. They also play a key role in the home-school communication, discussing things day-to-day with parents. So if you've ever got an important issue to deal with them about your daughter, they are the first port of call. So again, this PowerPoint will be put on the school website, so you can read this in a little bit more detail. Okay, really important because some of you have already started to contact us, obviously. So it's all about how we make contact with the school and the relevant people that you need to speak to. So for any pastoral issues, such as absences or illness, you must call us before 8:30 or email your form tutor. If you call school, you can leave a voice message on the school system and email the form tutor, who will then update and let the relevant members of staff know. If you could do that before 8:30. If we don't hear from you, then you will receive a text message and a phone call to find out how your daughter's doing, etc, etc. So if you could please call in before 8:30. If you have any general concerns about homework, friendships, day-to-day uniform, etc, then the protocol is to email your form tutor. It's really important. If it's, like I say, urgent, it's easier for you to email, because obviously the teachers have their teaching commitments, and as soon as the school day starts at sort of 8 o'clock, teachers are engrossed and setting up for their day and things like that. So so getting to the phone is difficult. So it's easier to email them personally. If it's a subject-related issue, so if it's something to do with their maths, their English homework or MFL homework, it's better to email their their subject teacher or the curriculum leader for that subject area, and you'll find all of their contact details on the school website. Or a general rule of thumb, if you look at your daughter's timetables, there's a code on there for the teacher's name. If you were to type their first initial and their surname, followed by the generic school email address so the name at sandhigh.cheshire.sch.uk, that is the school personal emails for individual members of staff. So general rule of thumb is that. If you want to cascade it further, because you're sort of not, you want to step it up a little bit, then the next person is Mr. Fairclough, and then obviously myself. and then Miss Darlington, and then the head. So it's a cascading system. If you are to require an absence for a family holiday, then the person that you need to ask that is the head teacher, so Miss Ellen Walton. You type a letter, send it in an email, whatever, it will get passed to Miss Walton, and then she will authorise it. We deal with requests on an individual basis, and they are exceptional circumstances if we are to give permission for holidays in term time. And like I say, please don't be offended if we have to say no. We have a policy in place and we follow that quite rigidly. So as I say, it's dealt with exceptional circumstances on each case. Okay. If you require anything to do with finance, then which includes trips, parent pay, PE kit, revision resources, musical tuition, anything like that, then you must contact the finance department. Again, information on the school website for them. If it's paying for a trip and things like that, please remember we are a no cash school. We don't accept cash on the system, so it's either everything needs to be paid by parent pay or cheques made payable to Sandwich High School and Sixth Form College. Okay, but we don't accept cash in school unless the girls, but not at the moment because with the COVID situation, the girls put cash into the cash loader on a daily basis, but at this moment in time we're not doing that because of obvious reasons. We have a policy in school that we will get back to you as soon as we possibly can within a reasonable timescale. We are all teaching, we all have full teaching timetables and meetings and things like that, so we do endeavour to get back to you as soon as we possibly can. Okay. If you have subject specific, again just to reiterate, it is a subject teacher initially and then the head of department for that subject area. Okay, so if it's anything electronic or ICT based, our guru for that is Mr. Ford, Mr. Andy Ford, again A Ford at the school email address, and he will be able to help you with anything IT, and if he can't help you, he will direct you to the relevant person. Okay. So, parent app, you have received over the last week a video from Mr. Ford explaining all about the parent app. Just to outline what the parent app will allow you to do, it allows you to see the attendance of your daughters, individual lesson marks, the retainment and homework. So on that app you can keep a track of all that. Teachers endeavour to put all of the homework onto this parent app. Occasionally there is a little bit of miscommunication and sometimes it doesn't get on, but generally, say 95% of the time the homework is on the parent app, so you can help and support your daughters with their organisation. We do, however, try to enforce the girls' independence, or not enforce, encourage, should I say, the girls' independence, so they also write down their homework in their planners, which you've hopefully all seen, and then they will record it, and in there it has a date and when it's due in to be handed to the teacher. On the back of the planners, we also ask if you could each week sign the planners of the girls. This is to encourage your homeschool relationship, so you could write notes in their planners as well, and it's also just encouraging the girls to show you what their timetables are like, the homework, the teacher comments in their planners, etc, etc. So it's to encourage that homeschool link. So if you could please sign your daughter's planners on a weekly basis, and the girls have the responsibility to ask you to sign that as well, to have a look at it. Okay, so the video has been sent out. Hopefully you've all understood that, but again, if you've got any problems, then email Mr. Ford at school. Parent pay, again, all the information was sent out in the summer term. I think a few people got mislaid, but no worries. If you email school, they will endeavour to sort it out for you. But again, any trips, things that are paid on the parent pay app. So again, if there's any worries, just contact the finance office. Homework. So our homework policy, it's quite clear cut. If it's a core subject, maths, English and science and MFL, they are set work every week. So they're the core subjects, so they get homework each week for those. Sometimes they set a project which is set for a couple of weeks, 3 weeks, something like that, but in essence they have to do some work every week. All the other subjects is once every 2 weeks. We also have the policy that homework should not last any longer than between 20 to 30 minutes. If your daughter's homework is lasting more than 20 to 30 minutes, then you have every right to sign at the end of their homework saying that they have spent the allocated time. Obviously, if you think they've not put the effort in, then you wouldn't sign it. But yeah, you keep a monitor of that, and they don't have to. If they're enjoying it, obviously, they can. Because if you think about the 19 different subjects, so we need to carefully monitor the amount of homework that they're given. We monitor that in school, and we look at the workload of the girls, and then we'll adjust it and amend it as and when we feel the need. Okay. There also is a policy, within the policy, is that no teacher can set a piece of homework that is due in within 48 hours. They have to give the girls 2 days to complete any homework. Okay, obviously because they have a lot of other stuff to do outside of school, so time is important to them. So that's our policy. We do have consequences for non-return of homework, but I'll go to that in a few more slides. Additional needs. Some of you will have daughters that will require some additional need. If your daughter is identified at any point within school of need for some support in any way, you will receive a letter explaining that. Also, if we've identified your daughters as needing some intervention for anything at all, we have short-term intervention, long-term intervention. Again, you will be informed via letter, either email or paper, but generally it's via email. We are trying to be a paperless school, so everything is going electronic. If there is an additional need, then your daughter will be placed on a provision map, and all of the support she's given according to the provision map. We have the TLC, which is the Learning Centre. In that Learning Centre, we have homework club, so the girls can go there before school, lunchtime and after school to get support with their homework, and at break times if it's needed. And there's always a member of the teaching support team in there to give some support for all year groups in the TLC. We also deliver life skills in the TLC. We have games club and what we call social groups, so those girls who have difficulty engaging in friendships or just need a little bit of TLC, they can go to the social group and games club to receive that. We also have Lego Club. Now, I mentioned these clubs. At the moment, we are not delivering any clubs, just to give ourselves time to get back into these strange surroundings with the COVID and the bubbles, etc., etc. But we are hoping to get all clubs up and running in due course. We also have a breakfast club where the girls can go and get a free breakfast, and that is in F3 every morning. Again, not running just at the moment, but hopefully as soon as we can get it running. Okay, so I mentioned earlier about consequences and things. So we have behaviour for learning within school, and this is an outline of the system that we deliver, that we operate. So, behaviour for learning. Each lesson, the girls are graded from 1 to 4 on their behaviour, and then we have 8s and 9s for organisation and homework. So if your daughter works above expected and she works really, really hard in the lesson, goes above and beyond, she will get a 1. If she's expected, just a normal, just works hard, she gets a 2. If it's below expectation, so the level of effort isn't in there, and we are not overly happy about the way that she's delivered or participated in the lesson, she could be given a 3. If it's unacceptable behaviour and we have to remove them from the lesson, they're given a 4. And then the senior members of staff remove them from the lesson, and we deal with it appropriately, depending on the circumstances. If your daughter doesn't bring in her homework, they will get an 8, and if there's some elements of their equipment missing, then they will get a 9. At this point, Mr. Fairclough or myself will just, and the form tutors will monitor this, and if it becomes a pattern, then we put some intervention strategies in place to support them appropriately. They do, however, depending on the department, will get detentions for too many of these and too many of these, but obviously at the moment they're all settling in, and there's a little bit of leeway on those. If it becomes persistent, then we'll intervene. The rewards, we have weekly, half-termly and termly awards for the BFL grade. So for example, if your daughter is one of the top BFL, so she's got the best BFL grades for the week, they'll have a lucky dip, or they can choose to have an early lunch pass to go into dinner first. We have half-termly winners. If your daughter's form gets the best BFL grades throughout a half-term, they'll receive a breakfast treat kind of thing. If we have annual winners over the year and your daughter's form has done the best, they will have an annual trip. If they're first place, you'll get a BFL letter home, praise letter, and then we get praise postcards which get sent home regularly as well. We do have consequences. I'll very quickly, we don't have very many Year 7s that do this. So subject teachers give consequences. If it escalates and persistent, then curriculum leader will step in. Form tutors and achievement coordinators issue various different consequences depending on their policy within their department. We run a BFL league similar to this, and we monitor this all year, and we have them ranked, and then that helps us to assess who's the best BFL grades of the year and attitude to learning. This last week we already have our leaderboard, so you may see your daughter's name. There are some young ladies who got 14 number ones last week, which is exceptional, and obviously this is our leaderboard for last week, so you may see your daughter's name on there. They've done fantastically well already. Okay, we have positions of responsibility within the form, so the girls can get the opportunity to take some responsibility on and help the form and the school move forwards. So we have, as I said earlier, form reps, so 2 form reps per school, per form, and then we have the school council, and it cascades down that way. We have school sports reps who organise the teams for the form, for inter-form competitions such as the hockey, the netball, sports day, etc., and well-being of the form and engaging them in weekly get active form times. We have BFL monitors, monitoring that the pupils know where they stand for the week, and then we have ready to learn merit monitors as well, just to keep abreast of and celebrate the number of merits that the girls are achieving. Okay. So punctuality. If your daughters are ever late, okay, then it's not an issue. Occasionally we're late, traffic, issues in the morning getting ready for school, siblings, etc., etc. They come in, they'll sign the late book. If they have 3 lates, again, it's all new, it doesn't happen straight away, if we understand, but if they do get 3 lates, generally they will get an after-school detention for an hour, and they have to sign the late book when they come in to school. If your daughter was ever given an issue, a detention, it may be that the teachers just give them a 5-minute detention at the end of the lesson, which is automatic, just for a misdemeanour in a lesson, so that's daily. Okay, but if it's anything more serious, you will get an email home informing you of a detention that your daughter's received. Generally, it's a lunchtime, 30-minute detention for things like uniform, persistent lateness to lessons, or misdemeanours like that. It's a 30-minute. If it's a little bit more serious, then it's a Thursday's 45-minute detention. If it escalates again, it's an after school for 1 hour, but then for serious incidents and persistence misdemeanours, it's after school on a Friday for 2 hours. So not many of those are issued, I can assure you. And then there's little form tutor detentions and things like that, but these are just to inform. We don't get many girls on there, especially in Year 7. So just to keep you abreast of how it operates. But I don't want to dwell on the negatives too much. Okay, our reporting process. So we have over the year, and obviously it's slightly different for each year group, but in Year 7, up and coming events, we have a form tutor parents evening, and this will take place on the 28th of September, and it will be phone calls in this instance because of the COVID situation. So you will be given a letter asking you to give us a time of when you will be available to receive a phone call, and it'll be a 5-minute phone call with the form tutor. You also receive, over the coming weeks and months, progress reports for effort and attainment. You'll get that in the autumn term, one in the summer term, and a full report at the end of the summer term. Parents' evening is Wednesday the 1st of October, and we do bookings online. Again, we'll review that in certain circumstances. Okay, in a few weeks' time there will be a specific PEG event explaining and outlining the assessment system within school and how we report progress. But in a nutshell, there's a few things. Some of you are asking about your SAT scores and what we're doing about that. Please be reassured we've gathered all the information from the primary schools on your daughter's emotional and academic, the importance of that and sort of predicted outcomes that gives us an indication. Then there's class tasks. English and maths will be doing some class-based assessments over the next coming weeks to give us some kind of baseline, and then it's progressive assessment throughout the time with quizzes, homeworks, etc, etc, and then reported progress. In Key Stage 4, which is year 10 and 11, we record based on the GCSE grading criteria. It's a long time off yet. Okay, I also mentioned earlier the R2L and our merit system. So we call it Ready to Learn. And what we do is we reward the girls in lessons with merits. And these are stickers that we record on a card, and we base them on various different aspects of their learning. So we have, if they've got some emotional engagement, they manage distractions, they absorb the information, they notice the detail, and their perseverance. Okay, so emotional engagement, they will receive a merit, and the teacher will tell them what it's for. We then have interpersonal involvement in the lesson, their thinking skills, and their strategy. So if they show any of these elements of their learning, then the teacher will reward them with a merit sticker. The more merit stickers they collect, the awards that they get. So they will start off with a bronze certificate, moving on to a silver, gold, platinum. So quite a high thing to receive, and we put a lot of value on that because it's all about engaging and the ways that they can engage in their learning. You will also receive over the next few years, months, information on their effort in a lesson, and we again relate them to our Ready to Learn criteria. So we have less than expected, we have expected, more than expected, and outstanding. And again, if you want to take a look at this when you get the PowerPoint online, so I don't know if you can quite read it, we look at resilience, engaged, determined, curious, ambitious, respectful, okay, and if they show this level of criteria or things, then those are the grades that they will receive. So when you get your progress reports, you're looking for the effort, less than expected, more than, or outstanding, and then we encourage the girls and we share these criteria with the girls as well. A lot of you have asked about, or do we set and do we put them in set? The answer is no, because especially at this moment in time, because we don't have set scores, we are mixing the girls generally. So they are in one mixed group for maths, science, MFL and ICT. And we also identify those girls who are at greater depth in maths or English, or they're not quite meeting the standard, and we give them appropriate interventions, differentiation. And as we progress and we get to know more about the girls, that will increase or step back or increase relative to their needs. Okay, English is also mixed ability. In geography, so they're put in a class for English. They stay in those classes for geography, history, religious studies, music, drama, art, physical education and dance, and they are in their forms. So that's all mixed ability in their forms for those. Same as maths, science, MFL, they'll be in that group, that cluster for those lessons as well. They will, and they do get set currently in year 9, so we evaluate the progress and then we put them into sets when they reach year 9. Right, we have lots of awards, and the girls will come home and they will tell you that. I don't know if you've noticed some of the girls when you come on tours, they've got all the badges. So we give badges and certificates for all of these things. We really encourage involvement in extracurricular, positive engagements, being good citizens, etc. So there's a random array of awards and certificates that the girls can receive, and hopefully we'll see lots of your girls and your daughters receiving them. Again, extracurricular. It's quite frustrating at the moment that we aren't currently running any extracurricular activities. However, please be assured that we are looking at the plan starting after half term, and we will be doing some extracurricular clubs within the bubbles as soon as we possibly can, and hopefully we'll be able to move forward with all of them with greater numbers of clubs. Okay, so forthcoming events. We pride ourselves on the number of parental engagements events that we deliver. We try at every level to involve you in decision making and explaining why we do things and the justification for the way that we operate within school. Just to let you know, we have a parent council who are very active. We've been having Zoom meetings throughout lockdown. In fact, we've got our first one tonight, again for this term. Very dedicated member of groups of parents, and we are looking for recruiting Year 7 parents to be part of the parent council. Further information will follow. We also have PFA. Oh, I've just spotted a typo. It should be PFA, not PAF. Fundraising, and again, a dedicated group of people, very kind, and they do as much or as little as they want to, and we run various events throughout the year. We have parent engagement groups and evenings, and information evening, this being one of them. Obviously we're doing it virtually because we can't bring people onto site, and for the next few months or so we may be doing it virtually. If we can get parents in, we will, but at the moment it's virtual. The first one is the 30th of September. I've just noticed another typo, I do apologise. The 30th of September. If it is in school, it's 6:30, 6 o'clock till 7. If it's virtually, it will be released on the day of that. So that is a background into French and Spanish, and it's teaching you the skills to support your daughter, how to access resources, some of the basic vocabulary, etc, etc. It's a lovely evening, and quite often gets really good feedback from parents that have been on it. As I said earlier, there will be another PEG event looking at how we report on progress of your daughters, and that's on the 13th of October. We have a parental engagement in arts event coming up, date to be confirmed, but it's usually middle of October. We hopefully, but I don't know if we can, we'll have a family fun night where you get to meet parents and the girls in your daughter's form, so usually a very good opportunity for you to socialise and meet people that the girls are always talking about. Fingers crossed, but it's looking a little bit doubtful. We may tweak it and maybe do it in smaller group sizes. We then have on the 11th of November a Key Stage 3 Understanding our Maths, English and Science curriculum. Again, a really informative evening where you get to learn about what we deliver, why we deliver it, and how we deliver it. This is just the first half term, so there'll be lots more coming up in the calendar, which you will get to see if you look on the school calendar. It's all in there, and we'll be adding to it every now and then.
Thank you, Miss Wally. You've covered lots of important information there, but just a few more bits to add from me before the end of the video. In school, we offer extracurricular music lessons. These lessons happen during school time. What will happen is the students will come out of one of their timetabled lessons and they will go and have their extracurricular music lesson. These lessons run on a rotation, so the same timetable lesson won't always be affected. It's a fantastic opportunity that we offer in school. We have a group of highly trained specialists that do a fantastic job. I've had a lot of students that have been asking how to print in school. They're very excited to print homework, for example, that they've produced. In school, we will issue them printer credits soon, and they can use these printer credits on any printer that we have in school. When these printer credits run out, if they run out, the students are then able to purchase more printer credits. To do this, they will go to main reception. Since releasing the Sims Parent app video that seems to have been really beneficial for some of our parents and carers, I've had a few questions asking when will the students learn how to use the student version of the app. The students are going to have this training in one of their upcoming computing lessons in the near future. As mentioned in one of our previous videos that we sent out before the summer, in school we use a fingerprint system when it comes to purchasing food and drinks from the canteen. Now, in line with government guidelines, at present we're not using this system. So it's really important to mention that if your daughter has any issues purchasing food or a drink from school, please encourage them to let any teacher know or to report to main reception, and we will make sure that they get something. Finally, from me, in line with government guidelines, if students are self-isolating, we will continue to send work out to them. This work will be sent out by subject teachers to the student's email address. To access their school email address, if students go to the school website, They will then click on the student section and then click on webmail email. From there, they will be asked to type in their username and their password. Their username will be the number 20 followed by their last name and their first initial. And their password will be the same password that they use or that they have used to log on to any computer here in school. I will post an example picture of what this will look like in this video. After following this process, if students are still struggling to access their email accounts, please email me and let me know, and I will help them to do that.
Continuing with the parent engagement, we have loads of Twitter accounts for each subject. We have a Twitter account for Year 7. We also have the Instagram. I know a lot of you have joined the Instagram page that myself and Mr. Fairclough manage. We also have Facebook year group pages, which is managed by our school, our parent council, and they monitor it and put information on there, answer any questions that you may have, and they're managed by the Year 7 parents. Once we've got a Year 7 parent on the parent council, then we could ask that person to monitor that, but currently it's managed by our parents of the school parent council. We also have, which is brilliant, and again it's managed by one of our parent council members, and she's amazing. She comes in and sorts of lost property out every week, and then she posts it on our Facebook page for Sandbach High School Lost Property, and she posts any lost property that's been found on that Facebook page. So a really brilliant resource that we have there. Okay, so that's the end of my little presentation. Again, really weird, and it's done virtually. A little bit out of my comfort zone, but hopefully you've learned a little bit more about the ins and outs of how we run day to day, and I hope it's been useful. Please, if you have any questions, please email through the cascaded system, your form tutors, Mr. Fairclough, myself, etc., and we will hopefully endeavour to get back to you as soon as possible. And hopefully your daughters have settled in, they're enjoying themselves, and we look forward to looking after them for the next 5-7 years. Thank you very much. Take care. Bye bye.